Om Gam Ganapatye Namaha. Kaliyugada Kalpataru. The Fifth Delight. Shri Raghavendra Gurusarvabhauma. Chapter 108. Giver of Life to Desai's Son. When Shri Rayaru camped in Gadag, disciples of the Mata, devotees, and the faithful from nearby villages would come to Gadag for Sri Rayaru's darshana and attain spiritual merit. Similarly, they would invite Sri Rayaru to their respective villages, arrange for Pada Puja, and offer Bhiksha, thereby serving him with devotion. It was believed that seeing Sri Rayaru, conversing with him, receiving Tirtha Prasada and Mantrakshata from his divine hands, and being sprinkled with the consecrated water he had blessed, all of this would dispel their sorrows, fulfill their desires, and bring them auspiciousness. Being a manifestation of compassion, Sri Rayaru undertook his travels solely for the welfare of humanity in accordance with the will of Sri Hari to uplift the righteous. As such, Swamiji would fulfill the heartfelt wishes of those who came to seek him, and in doing so, he bestowed his grace upon them. Thus, the people considered him to be a divine messenger, that is, Devaduta of the Kaliyuga, and worshipped him with reverence. Near Gadag was a good village named Kirtagiri. The landlord of that village was Venkataraya Desai, one of the prominent disciples of the Matha. His lineage had always remained loyal disciples and devotees of the Matha from the beginning. Venkataraya, having come to know of Rayaru's arrival in Gadag, desired to bring the Guru to his village, honor him, and become blessed. Accordingly, he came to Gadag, had darshan of Rayaru, expressed his heartfelt desire, and humbly prayed, "Please accept the service of your disciple." The Guru, who was affectionate towards his devotees, accepted the request and graciously agreed to go to Kirtagiri. Venkataraya Desai received Rayaru with great grandeur, brought him home, performed Pada Puja, offered Kanike, that is offering, and along with his wife, son, and relatives received Mantra Muddharadharana and rejoiced. That day, Desai had arranged for Bhiksha, that is meal offering to Sri Rayaru, in his home, and had invited hundreds of Brahmins and married women, that is Sumangalis, to attend. As it was springtime, his orchard was abundant with luscious mangoes. To prepare food for the Brahmin feasts, large quantities of mangoes were picked and brought in, and instructions were given to the cooks to prepare mango rasayana, that is Mavina Hannina Rasayana, a mango-based delicacy, lavishly. Desai's house was spacious. To witness the puja performed by Rayaru, the Brahmins and Sumangalis had gathered in large numbers. Desai, with great enthusiasm, made all the necessary arrangements. Since meals had to be prepared for 500 to 600 invited guests, as well as hundreds of members from the Matha's entourage, Desai had erected a shed in the backyard of his house and arranged for cooking. The cooks had already prepared a large quantities of mango shira, that is mango dessert, in a big panchapatra, that is metan cauldron. Sri Rayaru completed his morning ablutions and became absorbed in the worship of Sri Moolarama Devaru. With musical instruments and Vedic chanting, the puja to Sri Moolarama commenced. Venkataraya Desai had a son who was the light of his lineage. The boy's name, Srinivasa, was about 5 or 6 years old. He was a very active and spirited child. Knowing that the Guru had come to their house, he was overwhelmed with joy and enthusiasm. Everyone was lost in anticipation of the deity's worship. Desai's wife was running around arranging seatings for relatives and invitees to witness the puja. Desai himself was sitting outside on the porch, speaking with village leaders, narrating to them the glories of Guru Rajaru. At that moment, Desai's son Srinivasa wandering about and came to the area where the cooking was happening. The cooks were immersed in their tasks. Out of child's curiosity, Srinivasa noticed a large cauldron and wanted to see what was inside. Because the cauldron was very tall, he rolled a big stone close to it, climbed onto it, and leaned over it. Alas, the stone slipped. Losing his balance, Srinivasa fell into the mango rasayana inside the clontron. For a moment, he failed his arms and legs, then everything went still. The cook who came to prepare the Naividya, that is offering to the deity, saw Desai's son floating in the mango rasayana in the Panchapatra, that is large vessel, and was horrified. He immediately summoned Desai and informed him of the incident. Upon seeing his son's lifeless body, Desai fainted. Somehow the news reached Desai's wife, who was devastated and broke into uncontrollable weeping. Desai, upon regaining consciousness, wept profusely with tears flowing in torrents. The grief of his wife knew no bounds. Desai, controlling his sorrow as best as he could, instructed, "Let this news not be told to anyone. The Guru Puja and the Brahmin's feast must not be disturbed. Prepare another mango rasayana with different mangoes." He then carried his son's body along with his wife through the back door and kept the corpse at the relative's house not far from his own. To him, it felt as if the sky itself had collapsed onto his head. Within a short time, his relatives and friends had all gathered there. Seeing the sorrow that had befallen the Desai couple, everyone was shaken. A few of them whispered, "This is the reward Desai gets for inviting the Guru, thinking him to be a great soul. The death of his child, what kind of saint is he? We wonder." Hearing this, Desai grew angry and said, "Can anyone alter the results of one's destiny? If fate itself has willed this, what can ever the Guru do? Don't slander such a great soul. Moreover, do you feel this sorrow more than I do? Keep your mouth shut and remain silent." Hearing Desai's words, everyone fell silent. After offering Nevidya to the deity, the Mahamangalarti began. Shri Rayaru said, "Let Desai and his family come and have darshan of the Lord." "Call them," he instructed. The friends of Desai, who were standing nearby, said, "Swami, due to some difficulty, Desai is unable to come. He has requested to come after the puja is complete," they pleaded. After the Moolarama puja was formally completed, Shri Rayaru accepted the Tirtha Prasada and graciously distributed Tirtha and Tulsi Prasada to all. Still, since Desai did not arrive, Rayaru was surprised and said, "Why has Desai not yet come? Go and see, bring him, wherever he may be." Then Desai's friends, unable to respond, went to Desai and conveyed the Guru's command. Desai, still sitting and weeping, said, "Please inform that I will come after the Guru has accepted Bhiksha. You all offer the food to Krishna and arrange Bhiksha for the Guru and the Brahmins," he said. Desai's friends came to Rayaru and conveyed, "Swami, Desai is unable to come now. He will receive darshan after you accept Bhiksha and the Brahmins' meals are completed." Shri Rayaru said, "What do you mean by this? How can we accept Bhiksha in the absence of the master of the house? No matter what the obstacles are, he must come now. Tell him this is our command and bring him immediately." Being unable to say anything more, they rushed back to Desai and explained the Guru's firm instruction. Desai was caught in dilemma. If I go, the matter will be exposed and it may disrupt the Guru Bhiksha and the Brahmin's feast. If I don't go, the saint might be displeased and refuse to accept Bhiksha. "Oh Lord, what should I do now? Why have you given me such distress?" he lamented. Finally gathering courage and thinking, "Let what is destined happen," he came to the house and stood at the entrance. Seeing that Desai was standing outside without entering, Sri Rayaru sensed that something untoward had occurred. He himself came to the entrance and asked, "Desai Avare, why are you standing outside? Why didn't you come to accept Tirtha Prasada?" The dam of sorrow that Desai had been holding back broke. Tears of grief began to flow from his eyes. While sobbing, Desai said, "Swami, I cannot enter inside." Sri Rayaru, "All right, then at least send your son." Desai, while crying, "That line has already been written, Swami." Sri Rayaru, "What are you saying?" Desai, "Guruvarya, my son, fell into the mango rasayana vessel and has died. Where is my son now?" At that moment, it was as if Sri Rayaru was struck with a jolt. He responded, "Shantam Papam. Do not speak such inauspicious words. Your son is not dead. No, definitely not. We speak this with Supreme Lord as our witness. Listen well. Where the supreme auspicious form of Sri Moolarama resides, There is always only auspiciousness. There is no room for death or sorrow. Go now, and immediately bring your son's body here, he commanded. Though it was clear that the son was dead, the Guru's words kindled a ray of hope in Desai's heart. Desai immediately rushed and brought the boy's body and placed it before the Guru. Desai's wife followed her husband and stood there dejected. Seeing the boy lying lifeless, Shri Guru's heart melted with compassion. A stream of mercy overflowed from his heart. Shri Guru said, O Lord of Lords, Mula Raghunandana, embodiment of auspiciousness, death in your presence? What a contradiction! Are you testing this devotee? Lord, please show mercy. Revive this child. Saying so, he sat down on his seat and instructed that until he called again, no one should move or speak. Then, performing achamana and making a resolve, that is sankalpa, he entered deep meditation. Sri Guru Raja mentally visualized the divine Bimbamurti within his heart. At that moment, he had a darshan of the Bimbamurti. Then he beheld the divine form of Sri Ramabhadra, the Lord of the universe. Continuing in the deep meditation, Sri Rayaru then beheld the radiant, smiling child Krishna holding a flute and dancing in joy on the throne of his heart. As he continued to praise the Lord, internally Krishna stood there smiling. While still in meditative state, Sri Guru entreated, O Lord Murli Mohana, do you remember the boon you granted me at Udupi? Krishna opened his eyes wide and asked, What boon did I give you? Guru responded, Oh, is this your play, Lord? Did you not promise that you would come when I called and grant my prayer? Now you pretend as though you don't remember? Child Gopala, smiling gently, said, Oh, that one, yes, I remember now. Tell me, what should I do now? Then Sri Rayaru said, Lord, your devotee called us and performed worship with such devotion. How can such a person's sons die? Will this not tarnish your name? When in this world, atheists who don't believe in transcendental are increasing in number, if a devout and righteous man like Desai loses his son during your puja, then who will remain religious or devoted to God and Guru in the future? What will become of us, the propagators of your truth? Lord, this should not happen. Please show your mercy. He prayed to the child Gopala who had manifested in his heart. Child Krishna smiled and said, Enough already. This is the result of keeping company with monks. Ever since I granted you the boon as one of foremost in devotion, I have had to face this kind of situation. You are truly very stubborn. Let it be as you wish. Listen, this boy suffered an untimely death. Now he must be brought back to life. Isn't that what you wished? Tatastu, so be it. Chant the Sri Rama mantra. Sprinkle mantrodaka, that is, holy water charged with the mantra, on the boy's body. He will come back to life. Upon hearing this, Guru Rayaru said, Lord, realizing that this was an untimely death, I pray to you. You, the beloved of your devotees, have shown compassion. I am blessed. O Lord, infinite salutations to you. He mentally prostrated to the Lord. Sri Krishna then disappeared from his lotus heart. A gentle jasmine-like smile blossomed on Sri Rayaru's face. His body was thrilled with goosebumps. With a compassionate gaze, he looked on and smiled. Then Rayaru recited the Rama mantra, sanctified the water in his kamandalu with that mantra, and sprinkled it on the boy's body, saying, Get up, child. As people stood in awe, eagerly watching what would happen next, suddenly the boy, who had been gripped in dreadful jaws of death, as though just awakened from sleep, stretched his limbs, yawned, and sat upright in daze. Witnessing this most miraculous event with their own eyes, the crowd went ecstatic, chanting victory to Rayaru, with cries of victory to the reviver of the dead. The joy of Desai and his wife knew no bounds. Venkataraya and his wife prostrated fully before the Guru and said, O great one, devoted as you are to your disciples, your compassion is beyond measure. You have revived the lamp of our lineage and blessed us with your grace. What can insignificant ones like us offer in return to such a great soul? Just as it is said, We are capable only for offering our heartfelt salutations with devotion. They said, their eyes wet with tears of joy. At that moment, Srinivasa came to his parents and hugged them, saying, Appa, I had a dream. Desai, astonished, asked, You had a dream, Srinivasa? What kind of dream, my child? And lovingly embraced his son. Srinivasa said, Appa, while I was playing alone, two terrifying looking men came towards me holding spears and ropes. They said, Come, let's go. Seeing them, I was frightened. Still, I told them, I want to see the Guru and the Lord's puja. I will not come. Then they tried to scare me, saying, If you don't come, we'll drag you, and began pulling me by putting the rope around my neck. Out of fear, I cried out, Raghavendra Gurugale, save me. Appa, just then, our Guru appeared from somewhere and struck those scary men with a stick in his hand, saying, Leave him and go away. As soon as the Guru said this, they ran away in fear. Then, as I was crying, the Guru said, Don't cry, child. I will take you back to your father. Come. And he lifted me up in his arms, and that's all I remember. Now I have woken up, he said. Hearing the boy's words, everyone was stunned. Seeing the Guru's boundless affection for his disciple, all were overwhelmed with joy, and they praised Rayalu's greatness with deep devotion, declaring him the saint who chased away the messengers of death and brought Srinivasa back to life for his beloved disciple Venkatanatha Desai. The house that had been filled with sorrow moments ago was in an instant transformed into a home of joy and happiness, all due to the grace of Gurusarvabhauma. Afterwards, everyone began speaking about the greatness of the Guru, the immense fortune and blessedness of Desai Venkataraya. Then the Guru performed his bath, completed his japa, and accepted bhiksha along with the scholars and his circle of disciples. On the next day, too, the worship of Sri Moolarama was performed in Desai's house. Thousands of people had the darshan, that is a holy sight of the deity, and were sanctified. During the puja, Venkataraya Desai, remembering the great favor and supreme compassion of Sri Rayaru, who had redeemed his lineage, joyfully donated the entire village of Kirtagiri to the divine treasury, that is Bhandara, of Sri Moola Raghupati Vedavyasaru, thus fulfilling himself. Hari Om. Om Sri Krishnarpanamastu.